Hey you guys, it's Bright. Tonight we're here to talk about just some things that I don't understand. I'm not able to reconcile them. I figured that this would be a good little random video to throw in for you guys. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so before we get into this, please keep in mind these are only my opinions. If you do some of these things, if you like these things, if you understand them, if you're any of the above, that's fine. These are just my opinions, and I feel like I always have to put a disclaimer anytime I share my opinions, just because, yeah, y'all already know how the internet is. But yeah, either way, let's start from the top. So first things first, when it's the season of Halloween, like it is right now, there are videos that come up on YouTube talking about extreme haunted houses. And this is something that I've never understood. And I just watched a video. I watched a video last night from Mr. Nightmare, and I've subscribed to his channel for ages, but he was talking about extreme haunted houses. Some of them have closed down. I think one or two are still open. I don't remember. But when he was describing these places, the first thing that came to my mind is, who would ever want to sign up for that? Who would ever want to sign up for psychological torture and being embarrassed and being so scared that you had to sign a waiver to even get into the place? I just really don't, I get the whole Halloween thing. I get it. Like, it's a fun time of year, all those things. And like the haunted houses that I'm talking about are not like your normal haunted house. I'm talking about like McCamey Manor, where they'll literally like shave your head and like beat you up and make you drink like animal urine. And it's really, really weird stuff. Those are the types of haunted houses where I'm like, it's not even a fun haunted house. It's not even like, oh, this is going to be scary. Like, let's go to this haunted house. Like, that's like literally you're signing up to possibly have PTSD and deal with like night terrors for possibly the rest of your life because of the experience that you went through. I don't know. There are a handful. I'll link Mr. Nightmare's video down below, but fair warning, it's not a pleasant video, but it is really, really crazy what people will voluntarily sign up for, and just the pure like torture that they will walk into it and know what they're walking into. I don't know. To me, it's just a little weird. Next thing are Disney adults. So Disney adults, I've never been able to understand Disney adults, and I know a few of them are here on YouTube. Some are more extreme than others. But I guess what I consider a Disney adult is like someone who visits Disney more than twice a year, someone who would absolutely want to get married at Disney, and like not even think twice about it. Like that is like their number one venue to get married at. Someone who is constantly wearing Disney merch, like 90% of their wardrobe for like casual stuff is Disney. Someone who would want to buy a house in that little like community in Orlando that's right outside Disney, where all the houses are super expensive and they're literally like themed after Disney movies. I don't know. I might get shit for that, but Disney adults, when it's to that extreme, I think it's a little weird. I know that there's some interesting pieces of history that tie in with Disney and things like that, and I can appreciate that. But just like everything else, people can take things to an extreme, and once it gets to that point, I get a little weirded out. Next thing is gambling. So gambling is something I know a lot of people do. It's very normal. I've never been a big gambler, and I remember the very first time that I went to Vegas. This was probably in 2007, I think, if my memory is serving me correctly. I went out there and I gave myself like it was either like $20 or $30 to play the slot machines because I had never gone and I wanted to experience Vegas for what it was known for, and it's known for gambling. So I went ahead and gambled it away. I didn't win anything, and I lost whatever the amount of money was in literally minutes. And since then, I never turned back. And I know that people think that there's luck and there's some kind of strategy that you have to play, and it'll be like this machine is more apt to pay out than this one is, and you have to sit in this chair and you have to go to this casino and all of this kind of stuff. I get it. And if that is your thing to kind of want to beat the odds, that's one thing. But unfortunately, I think that gambling is like so many other things where people will start and then it's like they cannot stop. Like they literally cannot slow themselves down enough to even turn it around because you're in so far, you want to make your money back, so you're going to continue gambling, but all that you're doing is spending more money and losing more money because you're not making it back. And some people just look at it as entertainment, and if you literally have money to blow, then that is your thing. But unfortunately, I do see people just go down a really dark path when it comes to gambling, and it is like ingrained into them where they literally cannot go to a casino and just see a show or have dinner or whatever. It's like they have to gamble or they want nothing to do with the establishment. It's a little weird, but anyway. Next thing, and this one might be a little bit of a hot topic for some people, but people who still visit the zoo or go to circuses that feature animals. Now, I, like a lot of other kids that grew up in the 90s, I definitely went to a few circuses as a kid. Times were a little different back then. I don't think that people were as educated as they are now on kind of the trauma and the abuse that these circus animals go through. But it's all been well documented. There's plenty of information out there, and people that still attend the circus, I just don't understand why. Where is the entertainment value in going to watch animals perform when you know that they have been abused in order to perform these, quote, tricks that you find entertaining? I just don't understand it. When it comes to the zoo, I have a little bit more, I don't know. I don't want to say like forgiveness because it's not really that. But at least with the zoo, based on most of what we hear, I do think that zoo workers really do care for the animals that they're looking after. But unfortunately, I think the same thing can happen where it's like the bad side of things is just concealed until someone decides to expose it. And there have been stories that have come out where, people that work with zoos are not the best people. But I don't know, especially with the circus, I just don't get it. Like, why are we still going to a circus? Why is the circus even a thing? I know that there are some petitions and so many people feel the same exact way. I just don't even understand why it's a conversation. They should just have been gone like a million years ago. Not even, I was going to say 20 years ago. They should have never been a thing. Next thing are ASMR videos. And I know that a lot of people really like ASMR videos. They're a thing. They're very popular. I get a little weirded out with the sounds and the tapping and all of that kind of stuff. I've just never really been into them. And I think that I mentioned this in an unpopular opinions video a while ago, so I won't rant for a really long time. But yeah, the chewing and the snapping and all of that kind of stuff, it's just, it kind of like irritates my eardrums, but that's just me. And so the next two are going to be the final two for this video. And these are the two that are kind of a little more serious in nature. First, let's talk about people that are obsessed with serial killers. Now, the people that are obsessed with serial killers have been reintroduced to social media thanks to the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix. And I've never understood this. I will never understand it. I don't care how you try to justify it or explain it. It just makes zero sense to me. I am not talking about people that are just discussing true crime and talking about cases. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about people who literally have an infatuation with the person who actually committed the crimes. They don't give two damns about the victims' families. They want to know everything about the serial killer and like study them like they're someone who did anything good for this world. They want to emulate certain personality traits and understand why this person used to wear these kinds of clothes, and they want to buy memorabilia that the person might have owned. I think it's disgusting. I think that it is a huge slap in the face to the victims of, these victims' families that are still living. I just really don't understand it, and they always seem to expose themselves or reintroduce themselves as soon as a series or a really popular kind of reenactment or documentary comes out. You usually see them all over social media bragging about how much they know about the serial killer, and they won't even talk about the victims or the victims' families or anything like that. It is just disgusting. And the last thing I'm going to talk about tonight is mental illness apologists. And this is something I see so often online, is people who are toxic and problematic or say something really gross or just do something that's completely just disgusting. They will very quickly flip the script and turn themselves into a victim. And all of a sudden, they will start talking about a mental illness that they have. And therefore, they will say, oh, I'm not blaming it on this, but I'm explaining why I did X, Y, Z. Constantly see people just eating it up and saying, oh, it's okay, everything's okay, don't worry about it, everything's okay. But here's my thing. If every single time somebody is racist, homophobic, transphobic, doxes someone, bullies someone, is harassing others, and then they come out and say, oh, well, I have this mental illness, and people accept that and go around and say, oh, well, they have so-and-so, so it's, no big deal. Then we will have an internet culture that is constantly weaponizing mental illnesses and trying to use it as a shield as to why they should not be called out for being reprehensible online. So it's a very tricky space to kind of walk. And I always find it very interesting when someone does not say anything about mental health or having, an issue, and then all of a sudden they're being called out for being disgusting, and now they have a mental illness. Now they're talking about this thing that they've had since they were 12 years old and blah, 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 blah. So I get it. I feel terrible for people who have mental illness and go through these things every single day. But I always say, and I will always stand by this, that your mental illness is not an excuse to bully other people or be racist. We all have something that we've been through, whether it's trauma or a mental illness or, some kind of anxiety or PTSD or whatever it is. But there are so many people in this world who are not terrible people and then go around and blame it on their mental illness or their previous trauma, so on and so forth. So I just find that really interesting. But I see a lot of mental illness apologists online, And sometimes I just think that it's a bias to their favorite creator where they're willing to look past someone being disgusting because they just so happen to like that person that much. So either way, I think those are going to be my thoughts for tonight. If you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.